We're at Kayhart Brothers Dairy in West Addison, Vermont. I don't know, growing up I didn't really like it too much, being honest with you, because I felt like all my friends didn't have to work or have responsibilities and being kids, you know, so I kind of begrudged the fact that I needed to go out and do calf chores when I was in 8th grade or whatever. But it kind of was, for me, I felt like was the best road for the most secure future. Say my parents moved down here in 1979. I got out of high school, joined the Marine Corps, traveled the world, came back to the farm in 1994. My brother was in a partnership with my parents when I returned, and then it took me probably 4 years to get to the point where I knew this was where I was going to be and committed to being in the partnership at that point. We're just a whisker over 1,200 right now. I think 24 employees. Maybe covering 2,700 acres of ground. There's been consolidation of dairy, all around us. Farms going out of business, farms getting bigger. I'd say there's, in the last 5 years or more, there's been a huge push for, environmental practices that are taking more and more mainstay on farming. Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart, I guess. There's a lot of decisions that get made all the time that are important decisions that we scrutinize every which way to Sunday, and they're not, it's not like it's a $50 or $100 decisions. There can be a lot bigger. I think my father, the one thing that he always said was that when he was growing up, maybe that a farmer could always make a really good go of it just by working very hard. And I think now it takes that along with being a very good businessman and good communication, being involved, staying educated. So you gotta wear a lot more hats, and kind of where this picture here is basically where that picture was a year after the fact we started. Right now we're currently still kind of milking up at the front facility also until we can build the second barn that's over on the north side of this milking parlor. So then when we will milk all the cows out here, still there's another 8 units that can go in here, and everything's built to handle a double 24 parlor, milking 3 times a day. Basically the milk comes up through the parlor into another receiving jar like this down in the subway. It travels through a plate cooler and then through a chiller. It uses glycol to bring the temperature down to 35 degrees, I think. And follow the pipe. It comes through the glycol in the chiller and up through here and then around and out. And then, the milkers will then break the line here and then connect it up to the tank that's backed up to the port here. It certainly gives us more flexibility, gives the cooperative more flexibility of when they can be here to take things. If there's bad weather, they could always drop another trailer. This is kind of the sort area. All the cows basically have RFID tags that when they're in the parlor, there's an antenna that will identify the animal and keep track of all the weights every day. So when she passes through this corral here, it identifies her again. They can come up with lists to sort animals for vet work or for any other kind of activities that the herdsman needs to do with them every day. So it saves a tremendous amount of time going out into the barn to find one cow amongst 800 or wherever. And the two return lanes, we have foot baths that are set up on either side, so we'll have that we can be switched mid-shift to kind of keep the product clean for the cow's hoofs. Basically the sort gate operates this air cylinder, which will then kind of send a cow either from not going back to the barn down to this palpation rail where they'll do preg check or whatever else they have to do to the animals, monitor fresh cows. It's basically all set up and designed for one person can handle any situation without any other help. It works pretty well. It's, you know, if they're milking the cows on this side of the barn, it saves him a lot of but it's only good as long as you have air pressure. If the air pressure dies, then the cow, because we've had them, so we've kind of got some backup. I'm going to end up putting in a BRU unit here at the end of 6 months from now. What we were doing was, it's a screw press, so it was basically just squeezing the manure, reclaiming the solids, and which we could kind of get down to a dry matter of around 38% dry matter. So that was it. It was just basically green cow manure, and then the bacteria levels are hard to control. And so we basically, with a BRU unit, it's like a composted material that'll come out completely free of any bacteria. So
you use that for bedding?
Yeah. You know, when the farm uses a couple $100,000 a year worth of sawdust, if you can reuse your own product and make it work, it's a moneymaker. Water kind of, you know, there's creeks. Hospital Creek comes up behind the farm, goes around all of our property. Lake Champlain, yeah, we're farming around all kinds of waterways. We're doing more and more cover cropping every year. I think last year I probably did close to 400 acres of cover crop because the corn came off early and we had adequate time to get it established. I'm not ready to say that I'm 100% no-till, nor will I probably ever be, but it's another thing that gives me flexibility for crop rotations, to, you know, make less passes, to less inputs, to just time more than anything. The window and the weather that we have is kind of all over the board, so it's allows me to kind of go different directions based on weather if it presents itself. Buffers, you know, nutrient management plans, incorporating most of our manure, not all of it, but a lot of it in the fall time. All my fall manure gets injected. We'll top dress grass in the summer as we cut hay off. Yeah, so that's it. Just staying involved with, you know, groups and being vocal about it. I think there's more information that helps us make better decisions, absolutely. So just in a way, I kind of feel like it makes my job easier, because if I didn't have all that information to make the best decisions that I think that I can at that time, it's just too much to keep up here or written down on a piece of paper.
Yeah, I was like, his is like less than a quarter mile, so, and some are even right across the driveway. So.
Yeah, I mean, I used to live right here on the farm, and I do miss kind of seeing what's going on and everything, people coming, people going, but